If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine, and maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them, from disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Other shows we have for you to enjoy at myclassicradio.net. The Avengers was most certainly not a household name in South Africa prior to the radio series. With no national television service until 1976, the mechanism simply was not present in the country to show television programs to mass audiences. While many other countries reveled in the filmed adventures of John Steed and company, South Africa was not equipped to join in the fun. The series took Britain by storm and made a major impression in the American markets, being that greatest of rarities, a British series given a network transmission slot. However, as a filmed series, rather than a videotaped one, The Avengers was able to gain a modicum of exposure in South Africa through film rentals. Come and listen at myclassicradio.net.
Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created for the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Company Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 101 regarding a murder at 11th and Maple. That's all. Rolls and Church.
Every police car that speeds past you with siren squeaking is a dramatic advertisement for Rio Grande cracked gasoline. So is every police ambulance speeding on its errand of murder. Every fire engine that roars past. Every police motorcycle that patrols the road. There are thousands of such emergency cars in the territory where Rio Grande cracked gasoline is sold, and more of them use Rio Grande cracked than any other gasoline. What greater proof can you ask that this gasoline is fair of all others? The gasoline selected for emergency cars operated by the cities of Los Angeles, Oakland, Berkeley, and others, and by the county of San Diego, Maricopa County, Arizona, and many, many others, is chosen in competitive tests. Rio Grande has won these tests because it is the only gasoline available in the far west that is made by the patented Sinclair cracking process, the most advanced refining method known to the petroleum industry. In Rio Grande's new cracking plant, the finest in America, your gasoline goes through a costly extra process that changes all the weak, slow-burning, lazy units into rich, vital elements. And when you buy Rio Grande cracked gasoline from your neighborhood independent dealer, you get the same gasoline that is used by more emergency engines than any other brand. And in addition, Rio Grande offers free gifts to every boy and girl. Drive in tonight, or tomorrow sure, wherever Rio Grande cracked gasoline is sold. Ask for your free copy of the Calling All Cars News, and read how your youngsters may have a complete junior detective outfit free of charge. And now it is our pleasure to present Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. As you sit quietly back in your chair, listening to this broadcast, perhaps you will believe it is incredible that several persons can conspire together to commit crime which may result, and in this case did result, in cold-blooded murder. Few citizens realize that walking abroad in our community are vicious individuals whose criminal tendencies are so great that they can conspire together in a single act of violence. But this story we bring you tonight is one which proves conclusively that definite criminal types are dangerous and altogether unfit to associate with civilized society as we know it. I wish to call particular attention to those listening in tonight to the splendid work done by the police officers in wringing from the group of conspirators and would-be murderers whose story this is, the truth concerning one of the most barbarous killings in police annals. This splendid piece of detective work was done without resorting to the antiquated so-called third degree. The psychology used by the police officers in this story to break down the resistance of these clever criminals is particularly noteworthy. Now for the story.
Morning, and just sure as it is that, Mrs. Mudge. And what brings you out so early?
I'm going to buy the food in the house, and the kids are hungry. I got to go down to the relief headquarters and see if I can get them something to eat.
Oh, and it's a fine state the world in, and gentlefolk like us have to be begging the government itself for a crust of bread.
Well, I don't know what the world's coming to. I was just saying to Mrs. Watson the other day.
Oh, Mrs. Watson, you were mistaken. Then maybe you can tell me what our fine landlady has been taking herself. And me with the plumbing in the place gone bad and not able to find hide nor hair of her these 3 days.
No, that's strange. I haven't seen her for several days myself.
I'm just on my way to her apartment to find out why I can't get me some service in this place. Will you come along?
Very well. I want to speak to her myself.
You don't suppose she's run off and got herself married to that Mr. Redding from across the street, do you?
Oh, no. She's too old and settled for that. When a woman's past 60, she isn't thinking about flashy things.
Maybe not. Of course, I ain't past 60. I ain't well into my 30s yet. But that Mr. Redding don't look so bad to me. He'd be a fine husband for a widow woman who understood him and could do for him like I could, if you get what I mean.
Mrs. McManus, you surprise me.
Well, I'm only human after all, and I never could understand what Mr. Redding sees in that old Mrs. Watson.
She'll hear you.
Not her, she won't. She's as deaf as the devil himself is wicked. Knock on the door, Mrs. Mudge. Not loud enough to raise the dead.
Sure, she ought to hear that.
She ought if she wants to. Hey, do you suppose?
Of course not.
I'm going to peek through the keyhole.
Oh, I wouldn't do that, Mrs. McManus. It ain't polite.
No, what of it? My plumbing needs fixing, and I'm going to tell her about it no matter how I do it. Just nail down here. Oh. Jones is plaguing me again.
Do you see anything?
Mrs. Mudge. Mrs. Mudge?
Yes, what is it?
The room's a wreck. It's the devil himself has been up to it.
Well, come in, let's see and see what's the matter.
Not me. That's the house of the police.
What's the trouble, Philip? Oh, it's really penetrated. Didn't take you long to get here. I guess we got the call as quickly as you did. What does it look like? Murder. As you see, the old lady was beaten with a blunt instrument, bound and gagged and rolled in a blanket. Well, clear out these people, fellas. Go ahead and I want to go over the place. Yes, sir. All right, folks. You all have to get outside. Fellas. Yes, sir. Send for Hildebrand, the fingerprint man, and tell the coroner to come out for the body. Right away, sir. All right, folks. Everyone outside. Nice job, huh? Right. Obviously, the motive was robbery. The way this place has been torn apart. The guy who did this is wondering for something in particular. Hey, look here. What? There's a nice fingerprint on the bedspread. Well, when Hildebrand will take care of that when he gets here. And now we got to round up these neighbors and find out what they know about this attack.
Well, as far as I knew, Mrs. Watson had a little money, and she always wore a big diamond ring.
Other shows we have for you to enjoy at myclassicradio.net. 21 Precinct was a police drama broadcast on CBS from July 7, 1953 to July 26, 1956. It initially served as a summer replacement for My Friend Irma. The show was produced in cooperation with the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association of City of New York and adaptations from True Criminal in New York. The Policeman's Point of View. Historically, the 21st Precinct had been located near Gramercy Park, Manhattan. In 1929, the department reorganized the precinct numbering, and 21st designation was discontinued. No such precinct existed during the run, nor does a 21st Precinct exist. However, the fictional precinct's territory closely corresponds to that of the Upper Side's 23rd Precinct since 192. Come and listen at myclassicradio.net.
told you not to do that. I heard of a release shooting last 8 o'clock on the night of the 27th.
When we arrived, Lieutenant, the door was bolted from the inside. The rear door had been locked by a spring lock. Looks like a murderer escaped the back way.
Well, I saw a man coming out of the rear of Mrs. Watson's house at about 8:50 on the night of the 27th. I didn't get a very good look at him.
Well, if you're asking me, I say talk to that boyfriend of hers, old Mr. Redding. He probably killed her for her money and her ring.
Well, should have come in and talked to us, and I hope we could help to solve Mrs. Watson's murder, Mr. Redding. I would love to help in any way I can. Okay. How long have you known Mrs. Watson, Mr. Redding? Several years. Oh, well, we were good friends. When did you see her last? I haven't seen her for a week. And the only idea who killed her. And me? Did you kill her? No. Did you have any enemies? No, not that I know of. Good morning, Lieutenant. Here's that fingerprint report. Thanks, Elder Baines. According to this report, the fingerprints we took when we brought you in tally with the prints found in Mrs. Watson's bed. How about that, Mr. Redding? It can be so. I've never been near Mrs. Watson's bed. I haven't even seen her for a week, I tell you. That's pretty bad, Mr. Redding. I'd like to tell us the truth and ease your conscience. I haven't anything else to tell. I've told you the truth. I understand it, Mr. Redding. How did that happen? I cut a repairing some plumbing at my house. Cut it repairing some plumbing, huh? So you didn't hurt it while you were beating out Mrs. Watson's brains? No, I haven't done anything. Well, that's what I asked you to judge of that. Why, what are you going to do for me? Are you going to hold me and technical test to do? And so you'll check yourself. Oates and Gerhardt checked back on Redding's story. Found that he was telling the truth. That he had indeed cut his hand while repairing the plumbing. And soon bring him once more to their office. Well, Mr. Redding, you checked back on your story and you found that you told us the truth about your hand. Why, of course, I mean sometimes. I don't know you. However, that doesn't explain about your fingerprint on Mrs. Watson's bedstead. Well, I was frightened when you first questioned me. I should have admitted that I had been in Mrs. Watson's room. I took her a book about a couple of days before she died. I may have touched the book. It was rolled us off in the first place. Yes, but you still had Mr. Redding. We're convinced you had nothing to do with her murder. And I'm free to go. Yes, you can go now. Well, good day, Mr. Redding. Good day. Good day. Well, that was our only clue I could go on. Mr. Well, you see where I'm going. But he isn't in New York. That guy's on the left. So let's you can tell me what we do next. All right. What did you suggest? Pass the buck to me. What would you suggest? Well, we got a murder and a single suspect we haven't eliminated. Well, sometimes it's smart to be Mr. McCall. Huh? What do you mean? Let's just wait for something to turn up. For the next several days, Oates and Gerhardt contained themselves with a routine details of the case, checking the stories of claims of the victim, going over their data for some little fact that may prove to be an important clue, actually getting nowhere. And then, from a quite unexpected source, a great comes which opens the case wide. Homicide, Oates speaking.
Deputy Sheriff Allen's
Yeah?
You weren't the only member of Watson murder?
Yes.
I just ran into somebody that might have a bearing on that.
What is it?
A peasant who comes around our house told my wife that he knew a man who's been opening some doors, robbing an old lady.
Yeah?
Yeah. Of course, it may not have anything to do with your case, but I thought you might want to know.
Well, damn right you do. I'll get on that right away. Running down Deputy Sheriff Allensworth's script, the detectives interview Mrs. Allensworth. The interview is immense to the peddler, and finally through him contact an old and, at the moment, very drunken gentleman.
It is intelligence, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
We'd like to have a talk with you if you don't mind.
Oh, not at all. Will you be coming in and help me get a seat?
Thanks.
Well, what is it, gentlemen?
My name's Harris.
It's the police.
This is Lieutenant Gerhardt from the police department.
That's police. I'm sure it's no time to have a taste of liquor in the house, is it?
I'm not interested in that, Mr. I don't think that's happening.
McNulty. McNulty. And what is it you want to be talking to me about?
I want your help, Mr. McNulty.
Help is it? Should help in a poor, innocent, law-abiding citizen help in the police?
According to the information we received, you were offered some money to help rob an old woman.
I never heard of such a thing myself. I never...
All right, McNulty. Now calm down.
Would you like a little drop of whiskey, gentlemen?
No, thanks.
You won't be minding if I know we did this. You jolted me sure when you made that last remark.
Oh, go right ahead.
Yeah. Well, now I respect.
How about it, McNulty?
How about what?
This job you were offered.
Well, I don't know nothing. I never heard of it. By the holy things I swear it.
Sounds to me as if you're trying to hide something.
Hide something, is it? Your conscience is as clear as a newborn babe that then gets them swaddled in the clothes of the street.
I know that you were offered a job to help rob an old woman. If you continue to deny it, we may be forced to arrest you on suspicion of murder.
Murder? Did you kill the poor old lady? I'll make you honest. Oh,
no, you did know about it.
I know nothing. It's just sorry I am that the poor old lady met her death at the hands of robbers. They begin the devil's own pardon.
According to his immensity, you know a great deal about it.
Immensity. Him and I have treated like a friend, like a brother even. So he's going about the town raving scandal about me.
You want to talk?
I'm talking, I tell you, man. You know the truth, I know.
Well, Harry, I guess we'll have to run him in. Yeah, I guess so. You want to use your handcuffs, or shall I use mine? Well, it doesn't matter.
How was it in the gentleman and not what he said? You wouldn't want to be arrested in innocent man.
Of course not. But how do we know that you are innocent? It seems as though you're trying to cover something up.
No, but I do think I am after forgetting something that I learned a month or so past.
What was it?
Yes, I remember now. The thing that the fella did talk to me about robbing some poor old lady. But I didn't have nothing to do with it. I told him I was a respectable, self-respecting, respectable citizen. And
who was this man?
Let me think. Seems like his name was Eddie Black.
Eddie Black?
Yeah.
Where'd you live?
Yeah, I believe it's somewhere around Pico and San Pedro. But I ain't sure. I never had nothing to do with him. I sent him and his illicit proposition captain. I set him like the black one I did. Sure and wise with a self-respecting, respectable, self-respecting taxpayer and citizen like me. Then he fuck with a black-hearted devil like the one he is himself. The devil.
So, good evening, please. Honorable gentlemen looking for register in number 1 Japanese hotel?
No, they're looking for someone.
Oh, who are you looking for, please?
Fellow by the name of Eddie Black who lives here.
Oh, yes. Eddie Black. I saw you. Eddie Black. I saw you. Eddie Black. I saw you. Eddie Black. I think
What room's he in?
Oh, I think
What room's he in?
Oh, Eddie Black is not in now. But he's coming. Oh, look. There are Eddie Black making entry from doorway right now.
Yeah? Just a minute, Mr. Black. Yeah, what is it? I want to have a little talk with you. About what? A murder. That's in police headquarters. A murder? Well, I don't know nothing about no murder. Well, that's just fine. And you won't mind coming along with us. We want you to meet a friend of ours. Yeah, well, I'm clean. I don't know nothing. Yeah, we're glad to hear that. Come along. Car's waiting outside. Get out. Hey, what's the idea? Where are you taking me? You'll see soon enough. I'm taking you to visit an old friend of yours. Yeah, well, I don't know anybody out in this end of town. Well, we'll see about that.
The gentleman very long, and I see you got your man. Hello, Eddie, and how are you tonight?
Who is this drunken old fool?
Come on. No. Sit down.
Is the man, is it, McNulty?
Cold and it is in the devil take the black heart of him.
What kind of a frame-up is it? Shut up and listen. Go ahead, Jim, and tell Black here what you told us an hour ago.
Hold him out the doctor. Listen to me, Eddie, my bucko. If you deny a word of what I say, then you're a duck.
Look here, you can't talk, Black. All right, then.
This day was fun. This excuse of a man sitting there met me on the street about a month ago. He says to me, "Tim, my boy," says he, "how could I to make a little change?" And I say to him, "Eddie, I need a little change pretty bad." And he says, "All right, my lad, you're on." Wait a minute, Eddie, says I. What do I have to do for the money? Just help me rob an old lady that I told the sheriff off. I fled from him like he was all the powers he wanted. Seeing as how I'm a respectable, self-respecting, respectable citizen and taxpayer. And I swear to it from the holy book. You know, only I told me by to get some money for the medicine to keep out the cold.
Well, Black, how about it?
Oh, he's gone. Gone? I'll be a subject in every bone in the body. You talk to me like that.
Don't turn out to tell the same story on the witness stand.
Oh, and that I will.
How about it, Black? Did you murder Mrs. Watson?
No, I swear I didn't.
Who did? What McNulty just said is the truth, isn't it?
Okay, it's the truth. I'm in a jam, I guess. But if you get me out of this spot, I'll show you the guy that bumped her off.
Come on, let's go.
A mere respectable self-respect.
That's the rooming house he lives in right there at the corner.
What's his name?
Well, I don't want to tell you that. But I know what room he's in.
All right, what room is it?
Number 15.
That's fine. Let's get Black into headquarters, Harold. Okay.
Hey, what's the idea? You can't hold me.
Well, they're holding you as a material witness until we check your story. Well, Lloyd, how do I look in these old clothes? It's certainly a line up in this. I always hate to wear some phony disguises like this. You know, sometimes you'd better stick in this neighborhood. Everybody's a block to know where it's just. Well, here we are at the rooming house, Blake pointed out. Let's ask the landlady. Okay. There's a room there to let.
Yeah?
One other room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have to pay in advance.
Okay, we will.
It looks to me like you had 10 cents between you.
Oh, we have. See this bed?
The police.
Right. And we want your assistance.
Well, now, look here. I don't want no trouble here. This is a respectable place, and I don't want to get in a bad name.
All right, now, quiet down. You're smart and we'll know we're here. We make a fuss and we have to raid the place to get our name.
Oh, heavens, no, not a raid.
Very well, then, be quiet and we'll cause you no trouble.
Oh, what do you want?
I want the name of the man in room 15.
Mr. Jefferson has that room.
Is he in now?
No, he went out half an hour ago.
When do you expect he'll be back?
Well, it's hard to tell. Sometimes he's away for a couple of days, and sometimes for just a few minutes.
Have you got any rooms vacant next to him?
No, but there's an empty room across the hall.
We'll take it.
But I don't want no trouble.
As long as there won't be any trouble. Just you keep your mouth shut. The only way there'll be any trouble is if you tip them off that we're here.
For 24 long hours, the two detectives sit in the little room, smoking endless cigarettes, taking turns, watching through the keyhole for anyone entering Jefferson's room across the hall. No one comes that afternoon, that night, nor the next morning, but finally at noon on the second day.
Come on. Yeah, probably got to take him down the hall. He's walking around all night. Come on, let's take him. Take him up, Jefferson. What is it? Up high. First him, Harry.
Say, who are you guys? What is it, a heist?
No, an arrest. We're police officers.
An arrest? What for? I ain't done nothing. What's the big idea?
There's a friend of yours down at headquarters that wants to see you. Come on. I don't think I need to introduce you two. You haven't made a mistake. This is your old friend Jefferson, isn't it, Black? Yeah, that's the guy.
What is this, a frame-up? I never saw this mug in my life before.
Oh, sit down, Black. Tell Mr. Jefferson here what you told me up in the cell.
Well, there was four of us in the deal. Jefferson here, me, Bud Sampson, and Betty Martin. He was planning to rob an old woman who lived next door to Betty's room, and that joint over on Maple Street. I found out Betty said she had $5 grand hidden in her trunk. He was going to use tire patches on our fingers to hide prints. We had a car.
Betty Martin?
Yeah, what of it?
You're under arrest.
What for?
Suspicion of murder.
Come right in, Sampson. Hey, what's the big idea? You got no right in my room.
That's the police headquarters. You come along quietly or do I have to use force?
First, loses no time in putting the suspect into the office of the superior Captain Bert Wallace of the Homicide Squad.
Captain Wallace is Reddy Black, Bud Sampson, Jack Jefferson, and Betty Martin.
Oh, yeah. Sit down, folks. Now, I suppose you'd like to know why you're all here. You're darn certain we would.
Yeah. There's a law against false arrest, you know.
Yes, I've heard of that law. That's the reason we never make an arrest until we are reasonably sure the suspect's guilt.
Now, you're way out of line this time.
I don't think so.
Well, come on. Spill it, Cap. What's it all about?
A little over a week ago, an old lady by the name of Amanda Watson was murdered during a robbery. There are some strong reasons to believe that one of the people in this room committed that murder. How about it?
Okay. I'll lay my cards on the table. I'll start talking.
That's fine. You don't mind if we take down your statement in shorthand, do you?
What good would it do me if I did?
Perhaps you're right. You ready to take the statement, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, Johnson. Start talking.
Well, I was working on a construction job out in Hollywood a couple of months ago, and I met Black there. He was working the same job, and he drove me back to town a couple of times, and then one day when he was talking about how tough things was and how hard it is to get a job to live on relief, he said he knew where there was some ready cash. He told me that he knew a woman who knew about an old lady that kept $5 grand and a lot of jewelry in a trunk in her room. It sounded pretty good to me, so Black took me around to meet this dame.
Who was this woman?
Betty Martin here.
You double
Betty, don't be that way. This is the best way out. I didn't bump the old woman, and you didn't either.
I don't like informers.
Well, Thompson, what else?
Well, this old lady lived next to Betty's apartment. We met in there and talked about it and decided we'd need a screwdriver to fork open the trunk and things, and we'd need some strong wire to tie up Ms. Watson. You never meant to bump her off.
That you did?
No, sir, I didn't. Well, we finally decided that maybe there wasn't any dough in the room because we'd been watching through the keyhole. At least I decided it was a bum steer, and I pulled out of the whole thing. That's all I got to say.
How about that, Black? Is Thompson telling the truth? Yeah. What have you got to add? Well, not much. After I talked to Sampson about the job, I ran into Jefferson here in the street.
Sit down, Jefferson.
Go ahead, Black. Well, we'd known each other in Oklahoma, and when Jefferson told me he was out of work, I figured soon he was an old friend that cut him in on a good thing. He went along with me to Betty's room, and he was present when we talked over plans. Jefferson got the power tool and the patches for our fingers. And we started to argue about whether Mrs. Watson really did have any money. I was sick in bed with the flu, and the next thing I knew, I read in the papers that the old dame had been bumped. I didn't do it. I was never nearer than Betty Martin's apartment. How about it, Miss Martin? What have you got to add?
Just this. I say it's a lie, a deliberate frame-up by a couple of double-talking rats that ain't fit to sit on. And that's not...
For 2 days, the questioning goes on. Relentlessly, the officers seek to break down the stories, the admissions and denials of the suspects. Toward the end of the second day of questioning,
I'm getting a little tired of this merry-go-round.
So are we. Why don't you let us go? We ain't guilty.
You know, boys, I think Jefferson's right. We're holding these people for no purpose. Certainly, I am convinced that Jefferson's innocent. And Jefferson's innocent.
And you're right at that, Cap.
And Jefferson, I want to apologize to you for keeping you here these 2 days.
Oh, that's all right, Captain Lewis.
We have to do these things sometimes to assure ourselves of the innocence of a suspect.
Sure, I understand.
You shake on it?
Sure.
Put her there. What's the matter?
You hurt my hand.
That's just what I meant to do. Now sit down there, Jefferson, and start coming clean. For 2 days, you've been sitting here stretching your right cheek until you've stretched all the skin away. You're nervous, Jefferson. You're holding something back. And something else which has escaped the notice of the rest of my fellow officers here is that right hand of yours. It's still swollen. How did you hurt your hand, Jefferson? Now, don't tell us you were fixing the plumbing. We've already eliminated one suspect on that story. Come clean, Jefferson. Sampson, Black, and Miss Martin have convinced me that they are innocent of the actual murder. And you have convinced me by your nervousness that you have guilty knowledge of it. Jefferson, you killed Mrs. Watson. Isn't that the truth?
Okay. You got me. I did it.
Start talking.
I got tired of them sitting around doing nothing. So that day I got trucked in a pint of cheap gin. And I took the tire tool and went over to Mrs. Watson. When she came to the door, I banged her over the head. And then I tied her up and threw her on the bed. And then I took the joint like Grant took Richmond.
Did you find anything?
No, not a stone.
I'm hardly believed, Jefferson.
There's just one thing I want you both to know.
I never missed it, killer. I just wanted to put her to sleep so I could get the $5,000 the Martin Dane said was here. I didn't mean to kill her. I swear I didn't. I just kept her easy. You just don't know your own strength, do you, Jefferson?
Jefferson, Black, and Miss Martin were booked for murder. Sampson was held as a material witness, and complaints were issued by Deputy District Attorney Vern Ferguson on 1 count of murder, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit robbery, and 3 counts of attempted robbery. But 4 days before the case came to trial, Judge Reuben Smith released Black and Miss Martin, declaring that the evidence of their guilt was insufficient. Jefferson went on trial on an insanity charge, was found sane, and was sent to San Quentin Penitentiary for life.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Someday you may need help from the police. Someday you may need an ambulance, quick. Every second counts when you need help. So police take no chances with gasoline refined by ordinary methods. Gasoline which may sputter and balk and stall at a sudden demand for speed. To ensure that every police car can jump from a crawl to top speed in emergencies, the largest cities and counties in California and Arizona specify Rio Grande cracked gasoline to power all emergency motors. It costs no more to get tetraethyl-treated gasoline refined by this extra cracking process. And with cracked gasoline in your car, you can get police car performance too. And as an extra inducement to try the super-refined gasoline, every independent dealer handling Rio Grande cracked gasoline is offering free, valuable gifts to boys and girls. Drive in. Get police car performance for your car with Rio Grande cracked gasoline.
Calling all cars, attention all cars. The cancellation broadcast 101 regarding a murder. Suspect in this case now in custody. That's all. Rose and Coke.
Narrator Frederick Lindsley bidding you good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company.